Hi, good evening.
All right.
Thank you.
Some might claim I unfairly threw a really nasty curveball at this team, but I'm hoping we get a chance to see how they pivot. All right. After completing your MVP on the gamification and coupon incentive feature program, you discovered there wasn't enough user adoption to justify the program. What do you do next? I just killed your MVP. As the executive committee, we need to see a roadmap plan beyond the MVP, the estimated stories to back up your timeline, and your plan to iterate and execute against your new ideas. Fitbit.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
We are Team Fitbit. Thank you for coming. The fitness devices are part of our team. So tonight we'll pick up from where we left off for our last presentation. Our agenda for tonight is we'll give an overview of Fitbit, and we'll go over our problem and the solution, and last but not least, the roadmap. At Fitbit, mission is to engage users to an active and healthy life. And healthy lifestyles. The company sells Fitbit devices and subscription-based software for the web and for the mobile platforms. And the Fitbit devices tracks activities like steps and heart rate, whereas the Fitbit application provides users with graphs, charts, and notifications. The problem we are facing is loss of engagement on the part of our customers. From our customer research, we found out that our customers lose interest in their Fitbit devices within the first 6 months. The Fitbit application provides graphs, charts, and notifications, but they fail to inspire and engage the users for over a long period of time. For the users to be engaged, we need them to be motivated. We need to give them feedback, guidance, and we need to provide positive reinforcement. If we are able to solve these problems, then the users will be more active, confident, and empowered, and they will more likely use their Fitbit devices over the longer term. Our goals are to improve the user engagement from 6 months to 24 months, maintain our subscriber base for the Fitbit application, and increase our device sales. We will only be able to reach these goals if we enhance the current Fitbit application by providing the users with more meaningful feedback. The feedback information needs to be custom, specific, and delivered in a timely manner to the users. We have three main features that will help us reach our goals. They are smart suggestions, inactivity alert, and a rewards program. I will now turn over to Natalie, and she will go over the features in more detail.
Okay, so the idea here is we want to improve engagement and add value for our customers. And this is who our customer is. Our customer is a tech-savvy person. They've got health and fitness goals. They need motivation and guidance to be active and meet their goals. And they're also value conscious about any sort of investment that they make in a device or a software app. So what we did is we went and did interviews with customers that met this profile. So we met with 6 people and we showed them 3 prototypes of our features. And with their feedback, we are going to build our roadmap. So the first feature we showed them was our Smart Suggestions feature. The way this feature works is that the user is going to opt in, select their preferences, and then after they reach a certain milestone, they'll get a suggestion directly on their phone. So our customers actually really liked this feature. They felt that it would be a good way to keep them active over a long period of time. They felt it was really important that they're able to opt in and also set up their profile so that they can get relevant feedback. They also really liked the ability to be able to click through and get directly to more information like a recipe. So the second feature we showed our customers was the inactivity alert. This one's pretty simple. After you're inactive for a certain period of time, you'll get an alert directly on your phone. And our customers really liked this idea. They were actually pretty surprised that we don't already do this today. So they said it's a no-brainer. And this would remind them to be active throughout the day, get up off their butt, leave their desk. And one thing they asked for was a temporary shut-off feature so that they can turn it off as they're going to go into a movie. They don't want to get a buzz on their phone or on their wrist if they know they're going to be inactive. So the last feature we showed our customers is our rewards feature. So the way this feature works is after they've reached a certain milestone, like 100,000 steps, they would get a notification on their phone giving them a coupon or a discount code. They could save it on their phone and redeem it using the Fitbit app. So they really loved this feature, and they said this would really incentivize them to be active and get their steps in. But it's important to them that they only get relevant rewards, so setting up that profile is really important, and being able to opt in if they don't like it anymore is important as well. So after these customer interviews, we got together with our product team, and we set up our roadmap, and Chris is going to walk you through that now.
All right, so as Natalie mentioned, we got together with the product team and we outlined our 4-month roadmap to deliver these 3 features as quickly as possible because these are the 3 features that are most likely to improve engagement. So for our MVP, we have the proof of concept. We'll start for all 3 features. We'll create a preference setup page. And this is where the user will be able to opt in or out of the feature and also set up their preferences for the feature. For the smart suggestions and the inactivity alerts, we will use the already existing technology that Fitbit has to send notifications to their phone and send smart notifications and inactivity alerts, the very basic form in the MVP. We're starting out with maybe 1,000 clients here. For the delivering the rewards and the incentives program, however, after doing some initial estimation, we realized this is going to be the costliest of our 3 features, not only in development time, but also in partnership creation time. So to start off with our incentives program, we will still have the opt-in and out page set up for the users. And if they opt in, we will have a manual query of the database. When they reach their goal of 500,000 steps, we'll have a Fitbit associate who's checking this list every day. We'll have them send an email out to the user with a downloadable coupon for a product that is relevant to them and that they're interested in. Down at the bottom, you'll see there's 3 major metrics that we're going to use over the span of this roadmap to measure our progress. The first is going to be the number of opt-ins that we receive at the beginning and also as we progress through the versions. The second is going to be the change in the step swap. So after a user opts in, has their step numbers changed or increased, and possibly comparing them to other users that have not opted in and seeing the difference there. The third one is going to be the number of opt-ins remaining, or the inverse, the number of people who opt out after they've already opted in. So in our version 2, as Natalie mentioned before, for Smart Suggestions, in order to take it to the wider public, we really need to make sure that they're going to be relevant and they're not going to clog up their phone with a lot of notifications that they don't want to see anymore. So before we take the Smart Suggestions to a larger audience, we have 3 enhancements for that feature. The first one being able to thumbs up or thumbs down a notification, so they can like or dislike the notification. The second is building a recommendation engine that learns from this like and dislike feedback from the user. And the third is being able to click through for more information. So if you have a notification that says you've just had a great workout, go eat a chicken quesadilla for protein and energy, we can click through to a recipe for the chicken quesadilla, or maybe to a link on a site that explains why protein is really beneficial after a workout. In our version 3, we're going to be tackling our inactivity alerts and also scaling our rewards and incentives program. So for inactivity alerts, we'll start by adding the snooze and the do not disturb features that that users really wanted to be able to go into movies or put off their inactivity alert for a little bit of time. As far as the redeeming rewards and incentives, this is where we're going to automate the tracking, sending, and redeeming of the rewards and incentives into the application itself. For version 4, this is where we get really fancy with the Smart Suggestions. We're going to add maps and locations. So not only can you click through to more information, but if you want that chicken quesadilla and there's a restaurant nearby that has really good chicken quesadillas, then we'll be able to have your location on there and suggest a restaurant to go to. We'll also have the ability to, for the inactivity alerts, if it says you should get up and do something right now, you can click through the notification and say, okay, I'm going to start a workout, I'm going to do 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, and 10 squats. 10 squats right now, and click through to log that workout from the notification itself. And the last thing is suggested activities nearby. So in your preferences, you stated you're interested in biking, in hiking, in mountain climbing, bouldering. If there's activities in the area that pertain to those interests of yours, we're going to let you know so you can become engaged in your fitness in a community sort of way. So this is our roadmap.
Sorry, a quick
Yeah.
question. The whole point behind this is essentially to use the users and enhance their lifetime value to the users. How are you measuring that then? How are you measuring that the people who would have stopped using Fitbit actually still remain connected because of these features?
Well, we're looking at the number of opt-ins to the features and then comparing that over time to see if they're actually still
What if
engaged
the
after 6
people who
months.
opted in weren't the people who were going to use Fitbit or stop using Fitbit in the first place?
Well, it's difficult with our goals because we're trying to increase engagement from 6 months to 2 years. So that's not data that we're going to have right off the bat. But by starting to track these metrics later on down the road, we can look at the engagement level of Fitbit users who have been using these suggestions in these applications compared to the Fitbit users that have not, and see if there's an actual difference between their long-term engagement.
Yeah, I think that would obviously be a really long lead time for that result to come out. It would probably make more sense in target the MVP specifically on people who feel that they'll be using Fitbit soon. That might be a target population you try product out first with the say, well,
Sure.
people end up actually using Fitbit in the first place or they end up making engagement.
we had some metrics before we started our MVP that said, these are the people who stopped syncing their device as often as they used to, or these are the people that maybe weren't reaching their 10,000 steps a day like you're supposed to every day, and targeting that customer with our advertisement for this feature.
And the key there is you want to cohort this. They're going to pick a bunch of users who exhibit those behaviors as a population, and they're going to pick a bunch of them who together are similar to the other bunch. You're going to say, okay,
Don't
this
be
half,
Yeah.
they're going to get a chance to try it,
Right.
and this half won't. And then what you'll do is basically track them side by side, including the ones you might offer it to and they'd say no.
It's a good point. We can specify at the very beginning that our 1,000 customers for the MVP or 1,000 users are going to be specifically based off of their current usage now and being able to increase their steps walked because maybe they haven't been reaching their 10,000 step goal, or maybe they haven't been syncing or engaging with the app as much as we would like. But of course, this is an educated projection of a roadmap based off of the data that we have today. Case in point, not 30 days into our MVP, we realized that we don't have enough opt-ins into our rewards and incentives program to make it valuable. So we decided to switch gears a little bit. We moved the click-through to restaurants and exercises and the suggested activities over to our version 3 because we already have those stories spec'd out. And then during this will give us time to re-engage with our customers, do some more interviews, and find out why at the beginning they seemed very interested in a rewards program, but then didn't end up opting into the program. If we come out from these second round of interviews and confirm that, okay, there's not enough incentive to have a rewards program, we do have another project ahead of us, a real hot project right now. Fitstar was just acquired by Fitbit, and they are a company that provides personalized workout routines that are tailored to your activity level and your fitness level. But currently it's only available for iOS. And so the next thing that we'd be tackling is getting that Fitstar app available for Android. So in conclusion, we will be combating our customers' loss of engagement with relevant and insightful, actionable insights. Sorry, insights twice, but it's because it's really important. That will not only provide them with things to do, but keep their goals in the forefront of their mind at all times. The results for the customer are going to be they're healthier and more active, and they not only find their fit, but they're going to keep it for the long term. And then hopefully further down the road, since this is a long-term goal, Fitbit will be able to measure that customer value and see customers going from an average of a 6-month customer lifetime span to hopefully a 2-year customer lifetime span.
So, going back to the curveball that Matt,
Yes.
I didn't see that reflected.
So the curveball.
I think the curveball was that you failed, right?
Right, so, but our specifically our rewards and incentives program MVP failed. So we did have a lot of other things on our backlog available. If you look at this slide, we have in the V4, we have click through to restaurants and suggested activities nearby. And, oh, look, I have a pointer. Here we go. So click through to restaurants and suggested activities. Because we had this scoped out already and we're ready for it, we went ahead and moved it forward into the V3, which is giving us a little bit of extra time to, 1, do research again with our second round of customer interviews, and 2, get some stories started for the Fitstar for Android, which would be our backup project.
So I didn't get it.
Yeah, in general, I think it's better to draw a big red pen around it when you have to pivot like that, like you sort of literally did.
We tried.
Don't gloss over it in the presentation, like, I think I blinked and I missed this. And
Oh,
then
really?
saw the next slide where you had the green lines. Sort of human nature not well on what failed, but it's really good to show, hey, look, yeah, 100% clear on this failed, and this is what we're doing differently because of what we found.
Should have paused.
So I didn't blink, and I really like that.
You must have really long blinks, Adam. I don't know. You
Yeah.
falling asleep
Don't
over
read
there?
anything.
Yeah, I think you
All right, do you need an alert, Adam? Get off?
Probably.
One thing I'd ask is So you slotted in Fitstar for Android at the end, but in a truly agile environment, right? If that's new, that acquisition just happened, and you need to get some traction on that, who's to say that it shouldn't actually like bump in on day 60, right?
Right.
If they were already down that path, right? So giving some context for, you know, hey, we modeled this out, and really the retention of our existing core audience is actually still more valuable than Fitstar for Android, so it merits being at the end of the backlog. But that's sort of like, that would be one thing that it feels somewhat waterfall-y in terms of like falling at the end just because you still need to get everything else done. You don't necessarily need to get everything else done.
True, we could have done it that way. The thing about kind of just playing around with the time here, we did the whole roadmap and then we kind of went off and said, oh, by the way, at some point in time we realized this wouldn't work. So perhaps when we acquired Fitstar, I'm not sure exactly where that happened in this roadmap, just for speculation's sake. So it might have been that even if we acquired Fitstar a little bit earlier on, it takes some time to actually do the acquisition and plan around what we, you know, how we want that Android app to look and who's going to do it and things like that. So I think that we do want to do that, and we just added it at the end because it just made the most sense at the time from where we interpreted ourselves to be.
So we could pop in Fitstar MVP in V2 that just says link, easy link to the existing Fitstar app, perhaps, on Android.
Yeah, or it's just like that it bears some explanation as to why it's dropped at the end. I think is
Fair enough.
Yeah, or the other way I might ask it is like, okay, I just acquired this company for $1 bajillion, and you tell me you can't find somebody that can port an app from iOS over to Android.
Right.
Like we see the value, we don't need the MVP, we already have all the signals that's there. Can we please just get someone that can port an app over like right now?
Right.
I think it's probably the way of, that's the type of
that's
question.
exactly
you
the type of
probably
thing
have
that
to-
would go
You
to
have
my
to
head.
answer,
It's
like, why is this all buried all the way at the end, type thing.
So my criticism of this slide is, unlike most of the other groups, you actually have a process, something that's in market and that's gathering data as you go. There's not enough time built in to learn. So like if you look at your releases, you're just rounding them right on top of each other, like 30, 60, 90, 120. Like the reality is in a normal dev and test cycle environment, you would be unable to move anything until the very end when you've got your learning cycles in. So I would have preferred slightly more elongated cycles. And the other question I would ask is, if it's really 120 days, and this is if it's really 120 days, why wouldn't you just wait and ship the whole thing at once? Like that would be the other way of looking at it, especially if you feel like your experience may not be fully baked all the way along.
Well, I disagree in that I do think that the learning that you're getting from the MVP initially is valuable, right? And could in fact change what you would want to do within that 120 days, right?
If the kind of agile philosophy is to deliver something quickly and often,
Right.
instead of waiting.
And who knows, maybe we need to do more with these, or these guys based off of the initial release that we have. We realize something else is more important than the do not disturb regarding the inactivity alert. So just getting that feedback, I think, is what we're going.
The one thing I suggest is, given the fact that the work will be fairly unique, instead of completely what you got assigned, it might make sense to analyze that a little bit, see what about the course.
So we did talk about doing a second round of customer interviews as we moved these guys over, because we already had them scoped out. We are gonna do a second round of customer interviews to identify if it's really a pivot situation or if there was something that our MVP just didn't cover and we need to persevere with a different direction.
Okay. Thank you. Any final points on the slides? No? Okay, class feedback? I think we've already heard from all the judges.
I just tell you what I thought it wasn't fair that you gave them the curveball. That puts them effectively on day 31 of the program.
Why is that not fair?
Because they're presenting from a different perspective than everyone else.
But to your other earlier point, they do have something currently in market that they can gather some data from. So I wanted them to go through the pivot exercise and pick something to force to constrain that. The way I would handle the 30, 60, 90, 120 day, if if you wanted to kind of fix your releases to, it sounds like a monthly cadence, I would position this as, this is our current 30, 60, 90-day view. We're gonna be learning things as we roll out after 30 days, and that's gonna help inform better what we're gonna do 60, 90 days out. Next month, when I come back to present the roadmap, I expect the 90-day view and the 120-day view to change based on what we're learning right now. And so it's an ever-evolving presentation. This is our current view. Things at 60 or 90 and 120 days can change as we move through that.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.